Most people think life is hard because of the circumstances, because how they work is, what kind of people they meet. All of these circumstances kind of make them believe that everything they do is hard. But sometimes it's not that your life is hard, it's the narrative you put into yourself and repeat over and over and over again, and train your brain to think that everything's supposed to be hard. You addicted to that narrative, and you addicted to drama. If you feel like this is something you struggle with and you feel like the hard stuff is always around you, first of all, you might be addicted to describing your life as very difficult thing. First thing to notice, if you're using this constantly in your language, maybe your job is hard, maybe your relationship is hard, you have to notice that first. If you bring it into your language, you bring that narrative out. Life is challenging. There is so many things to go through. But your overlook on it is becoming what you actually tell yourself and what actually kind of mirrors your reality. And this is the dangerous part, because your brain identify everything as hard. So first thing to do is notice if you actually doing it all the time. This actually happened to me because I was having a conversation with my friend and she was just waiting for me to say something about my life that is not hard. And as soon as I said, oh my God, the creativity is so easy, she was like, oh my God, this is the first thing you said to me, that it's not hard in your life. And as soon as she said it, I've noticed in myself that I have this pattern of repeating that everything is hard, everything is difficult. I need to change this because I'm bringing that narrative into myself. So as soon as you talk to yourself like this becomes your narrative and this becomes your deep belief. So if you want to be someone who is resilient, who is actually having things easy for themselves, who is actually not concentrated on the problems and not choosing something that is actually more difficult than it should be, you need to train yourself to be different. You need to train your brain to have a different message in here, because struggle is very familiar to our brain now. If you always say that things are hard for you, struggle is all the time in your brain. This is like a great pattern to choose out of all the patterns. Imagine you have 5 different jobs you've been offered positions from, but your brain constantly trained that I need to have a hard time. I'm going for the one job that is actually the hardest one, because my brain just trained to kind of be actually magnetic to the hard stuff. Another deep thing to notice in yourself, if you actually bond with people over your struggles. I know the drama is very interesting and fun, but if you constantly bond with people over something bad or over some difficult things, this is also becomes the big part of your life, because these friends also kind of part of that reality you're constantly running. The other question to ask yourself, who would you be without those struggles? Who would you be as a person? What kind of stories would you tell to your friends? If you meet them on Sunday, would you start with the struggles of your week, or would you start with something positive? This is also a very good thing to notice. So if you feel like you're becoming adventurous, a strong person because of all these things you think it's hard and everything is around you is hard, maybe it's time for you to change this. And maybe it's time for you to bring different interests, different stories, maybe different people around you who would not feel like everything is hard, everything is difficult. If this is resonating with you, maybe this week you can change your language and actually notice some patterns in your life. If this resonated, subscribe.